students. Today we shall learn a new story, that is the chapter 3 of English class 9 Beehive, and the title the title of the story is the little girl. So before we enter into the text, children, so let's have a brief introductions to the story The Little Girl. So children, the title of the story refers to the main character that we will come across, the little girl named Kezia. The theme of the story is the relationship between children and their parents, and the writer Katherine Mansfield wants to tell us that children share a very important bond of love with their parents. Although when children are small, when they are young, they do not feel that their parents love them because their parents are strict and many actions of the parents seems unjustified. But as children grow up, they realize that all the acts done by their parents were beneficial for them. The parents were concerns for them, and beneath the strictness lies a heart full of love for the children. And this bond of love between parents and their children has been highlighted through this story, The Little Girl. So children, so before we read, we shall see a few hints that is given over here. What about it? Let's go through it first. Okay. So see, do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Perhaps you now understand the reasons for some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. Children, when we are small, when we are very small, we do not know why our parents are being strict with us. But as we grow older, we become mature and we realize why they were being strict with us. And when we realize that thing, then we also realize that our parents love us. So even the reader can also relate to this. You all can also feel that when you were younger, the actions your parents did, the strictness that they had towards you was for your betterment. And as you will grow older and older, you will realize that in the past, whatever acts your parents did were for your betterment, and in fact, they really love you. This story about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding will probably find an echo in every home. So children, now what do we mean by will probably find an echo in every home? This means that all the children will feel the same way. So you all can relate to the feeling of little girl Kezia. Just like Kezia is full of fear towards her father, and later on she understands his behavior and feels that he was concerned and he loved her very much. All the children also have the same feeling towards their parents, and you can relate to Kezia's stories very well. So dear children, let's enter into the text. First we shall see that is what the paragraph 1. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. In first line it is written here, to the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. So see, a figure to be feared, that means a person to be feared here. A figure to be feared means a person to be feared. And who is the figure to be feared here? Yes, he is Kezia's father. So he refers to Kezia's father, and the little girl is Kezia here. Okay? So the opening line of the story is indicating the fear that Kezia has for her father. And as she is fearful of her father, she tries to avoid him and she tries to remain away from him. Okay? Then she, every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with goodbye, father. Then what happens, children? So every morning before going to work, Kezia's father would visit her in her room and give her a casual kiss. And in reply, Kezia would say, goodbye, father. So this actions of Kezia's father shows his love for Kezia. This is what the love of father towards his daughter. And there was a great sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriers growing fainter and fainter down the long road. Glad sense of relief, that means children feeling relaxed. Fainter and fainter, to lessen or reduce. Fainter means listen or reduce. Carriages like horse carts were means of the conveyance used in olden time. So here we can make out the fear that Kezia has for her father. The writer says that when Kezia heard that her father's carriage was going away from home and he was leaving home, and the sounds become fainter and fainter, that means the sound reduced, Kezia would have a sense of relaxation, because his father was there and he was fearing of his father, and he was not feeling that much good there. He was not feeling that much relaxed while his father is there at home. But when his father goes away from house to his work, at the time he relaxed, he feels very much relaxed. He feels very much relaxed here. So then Kezia would have a sense of relaxation after his father leave home for his work. She would feel relieved that her father had left. Now, why did she feel relieved? ये भी क्वेश्चन है. Because she feared her father, she was afraid of him, and so she was relieved when he left home. But children, one thing I would like to tell you here, remaining in front of the parents, that is a good thing. Remember this. We are remaining in the eyes of our parents. That is good. And those children who do not want to stay in front of their parents, those who hide in front of their parents, that is not good. Remember this. If we are remaining in front of our parents, by mistakenly, whatever work we do, that may not be good, that may bring tears in the eyes of our parents. All that activities could be avoided if our parents are there, because they will not allow all these things to do. Remember this, okay? So see, then what happened? You see, she feared her father, she was afraid of him, and so she was relieved when he left home. In the evening, when we came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. So children, in the evening time, when Kejia's father would return home from his work, so see, Kezia would hear his loud voice, and this loud voice against made her afraid of him. So in the evening, the loud voice of Kejia's father make her fear. That means that voice, this loud voice against made her afraid of him. Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my papers is out there, and bring me my slippers. So Kejia's father returned home. He would start ordering all different things. He would order that tea be served to him in the drawing room. He wanted the newspaper. He would ask his mothers to go and see if the newspaper was there outside the house, and he would ask her to get him his slipper also. Kezia, mother would call to her. If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots. Kejia's mother would call out to her and ask her to remove her father's boots. In order to make her obey, she would say that if she was a good girl, then surely she would obey her command. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push upon the drawing room door. So children, slip down, that means here, come down quietly and unknowingly. So again, we see Kejia's fears for her father. That is why she would come down the stairs quietly and unwillingly. Unwillingly, because she did not want to face her father. She feared him. By the time he had his spectacles and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. Now just imagine Kejia's father sitting in the drawing room on a sofa, wearing his spectacles, and he is looking at Kejia's over the spectacles. And now the way he looked at her terrified her. She was horrified because maybe it seems to her that he was staring at her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull up these boards and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? Kezia was reluctant in her work. She was slow in her motion, and so her father would tell her to hurry up and remove his boots and keep them out of the room. And then he would ask her if she had been a good girl that day. I don't know, father. And Kezia replied she did not know. So why was she stammering? Because she was not confident. A person is not confident when he has any feeling of fear. You don't know? If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. And you see, and so stuttering, or there is no stammering, Kezia is telling here. What Kezia is telling, you see, I don't know, father. And Kezia replied that she did not know. So why was she stammering? Because she was not confident. A person is not confident when he has any feeling of fear. Okay. Then what happens here? Stutter, that means to stammer, to speak with pauses. Ruk kar bolna. And you see, children, Kezia was fearing of her father, and it is because of that only he was stuttering there or stammering there. Okay? Then what happens, you see? If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. So here Kejia's father is copying her, and he also stammers like she did, or Kezia did. He says to her that if she stuttered like that, then her mother would have to take her to the doctor for a checkup. So children, she never stuttered with other people, had quite given it off, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. Give it up, stopped doing it. Give up means stopped doing it. Trying so hard, that means making a lot of efforts. So here the writer tells us that Kezia never stammered while she spoke to the other people. It was only when she talked to her father that she lacked confidence, and that is why she tried very hard to speak properly and she stammered. What is the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here Kezia carry my teacup back to the table carefully. Wretched, that means unhappy and sad. On the brink of suicide, about to commit suicide. And suicide, that is, kill oneself. Suicide means kill oneself. On the brink of suicide, that is, about to commit suicide. Wretched means unhappy and sad. Now Kezia's father looks at her. He feels that something is wrong with her. And he asks her why she is so unhappy. And then he tells the mother that she would teach Kezia to behave in a better way, and she should not appear as if she is so unhappy that she is about to end her life. So he wants to say that Kezia seems to be so unhappy with her life that she did not want to live any longer. He hands her his teacup and asks us to place it back on the table. He was so big, his hands and his legs, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. So here this is the feeling. This is the vision that Kezia has for her father. She feels that her father was so big. He was just like a giant. And the writer says that Kezia felt that his hand and his legs and his mouth were also used, especially when he yawned. It seems as if he was a huge monster. And whenever Kezia thought about her father, she felt that she was thinking about a giant. So what happened next? You see, on Sunday afternoon, grandmother sent her down to the drawing rooms to have a nice talk with father and mother. So every Sunday during the afternoon, Kezia's grandmother sent her downstairs to the drawing room in order to spend time with her parents. So Kezia was supposed to behave in a nice and distant way in front of her parents, and they had a formal get-together. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. His handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. Snoring means, children, the sound produced by someone when they are asleep. So, here we feel that Kezia felt a bit neglected. Every Sunday afternoon, when she went to her parents to meet them in the drawing room and have a nice talk with them, they were busy doing their own thing. Her mother was busy reading and her father was busy sleeping and snoring. So Kezia had this image of her parents in her mind. They did not talk with her. They didn't spend time with her. On the other hand, they were busy doing their own things. So see, children, that what happened, you see, she sat on a stool. She sat on a stool gravely, wretched hymns until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. So see then what happened you see. So all the while Kezia's father was asleep, she would just sit on a stool and watch him carefully till the time he would wake up and stretch his body, and then would ask the time and look at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. Kezia's father would compare Kezia to a little brown owl. He would say that Kezia was staring at him just like an owl does. One day, when she was kept indoors with the child, with the cold. So one day, when she was kept indoors with the cold, her grandmother told her their father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Now Kezia was not well. She had a cold. So she was supposed to stay at home. So her grandmother suggested that as she was at home and her father's birthday was approaching, she could make a birthday gift for him. She asked Kezia to make a pin cushion for him, and she also gave her a yellow color fabric of silk to make the cushion. So children, आज के लिए इतना, नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम इसको फिर आगे कंटिन्यू करेंगे.